What's happening, lad? Fucking Loathe back. I was actually going to try and just go for as long as possible with the Scouse accent, but it's just not happening. Been a big week or two for the Scousers with Paddy Pimblett getting a big win at UFC and now Loathe dropping an album. No correlation there whatsoever other than the fact they're from Liverpool, but we're rolling with it. Loathe, A Stranger to You, they're finally back after their huge album, their massive album that a lot of people have as one of the best modern metal albums that's dropped over the past couple of years with their 2020 album, I Let It In and It Took Everything, which is also, I think, the second most viewed album reaction on my channel ever. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's kind of been lost on me a little bit because I haven't loved the singles, but I've been saying it since day one with these singles being rolled out, is that Loathe, for me, especially from the last album, are an album band that I think you have to experience from start to finish. And I do think they make a very, dialed in effort to make sure that it is an album experience. The singles are okay. I didn't love them. Gifted Every Strength came out a year ago now at this point. We've heard that. That's track number 13. Then they gave us Revenant, I believe, which is track number 8, which had a feature on it, which I don't love when bands release singles with features for the most part. If it's a rollout for an album, it just feels a little bit like you're kind of giving us half of who you are. It's like, oh, we've been waiting all this time for music, and then you give us a feature, just whatever. And then they gave us the third and final single, which was, where the fuck? Was it Fangs? Yeah, Fangs, which is track 11. So one thing that sticks out to me immediately is that I like how they've released the singles, apart from the feature thing. I like how the first, 7 songs are all new, which is usually not the case. Like with bands, normally they'll release track 2 and 3 as singles, and then you might have heard a couple of the songs in the first portion of the album, then maybe one additional song at the end of the album. So for this one, it's like a completely new experience from start to halfway through the album, which I like when you have that moment to kind of settle back into an album when you hear the singles at the start. But I also like the switch up that low they're going with here, where we haven't heard the first 7 or so songs. So first one is called Entrance. There is 14 songs. It is 55 minutes and 2 seconds long. Again, this whole rollout has not been that exciting for me because Boundaries drops today as well. I've already heard the Boundaries album. That video is going to be on my Patreon. I'm going to go check it out. This one, I feel like, is a bit of a sleeper for me, even though it's not a sleeper and it shouldn't be considered a sleeper because it's a big, big release. For me, it's a bit of a sleeper. So I think I'm going into this album with the right idea because I'm not too pumped about it, but it also has so much potential to be album of the year. So let's go Entrance with Bucky Sugar. Who is this? Okay, well, I'm assuming that's not them. Okay, let's just hear this. Maybe a local artist from Liverpool or something. Maybe, I don't know. Let's just go. Another feature to start. Interesting. How many features they got on this? I see 4. I like how they're not high profile features by the looks of it. Bucky Sugar twice, Mansur Brown.
The sun rested, withstood against the test of time. Tested from the nest into the checkered line. Gifted every strength from what the stress refined. Holding on to pressure on a catalyzed goal. These diamonds are the cold.
Sick.
From the fire came the body of my soul. Surrounded by the others.
It's giving me Dave vibes.
The hive for the honey that we sow. Coloring lines out of control. The margin broken up into pieces in celebration from every moment of growth. Every story we float down the river, giving oath that we never turning back until everybody is cold. Still praise for my highest and our lows. Feet walking through the fire and fighting through any growth. Resting on the mountains that we chose. Stood against Goliath and we rose.
Sick.
We stood against Goliath and we rose.
Feature on the second track as well with Static Dress, okay. Block of flats, lads. This really reminds me of something specifically. It's kind of like a Tory Lanez narrative. That kind of narration intro. I love it. Cool. Let's go. It's going to get heavy now. Block of flat, static dress. It's got to be. Sick. This is what I mean, man. They're an album band. They just make things flow so perfectly. I'm waiting for that gnarly tone to come in. That fuzz. Oh yeah, man. They have me by the bollocks here, man. Take your time with it, boys. Take your time. I like it. Ah. Oh, the tone is changing. It's getting dark. We're in. What is that fucking... It sounds like lasers. It's slick, man. It's very slick. That fucking tone, though, I don't know what's going on there. Interesting to see if that continues throughout this album. Real sharp sounding. This drum sound incredible, though. So real. That's a fucking stylistic choice to go with that type of tone. It's very crunchy. Very crunchy. But it contrasts very well with these velvety textures that they have going on here. With all the reverb and the shoegazy guitar styles. It's fucking a lot though, man. I don't know if it's just this song or is that going to be the choice for the entire album. I know they've always had like a crunchy, chunky guitar tone. That feels like sharp. But very much so Loathe in the way in which they've written this song. It's so unique. Doesn't sound like anything else in the scene. Static dress. let's hear the transition. Is it going to be smooth? I mean, they've pretty much completely cut the song off. So, an interesting first song. I love how they built into that. The intro, very like Dave-esque. Clean transitions again, bro. I'll just let it play through and I'll take my notes and then we'll talk about it if we get a better chance to fully lock in and talk about it. Kind of sounds like fucking Porcupine Tree or something like that. It's giving me Porcupine Tree vibes. Holy shit, I didn't expect to get that from Loathe. Okay. Yeah, Porcupine Tree vibes there. I'm trying to think of the song. Is it Trains? Porcupine Tree. Anesthetize as well, maybe. Arriving somewhere but not here, man. I need to listen to these songs again. It's been a while. There's that Loathe sound. This feels very I Let It In. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh man. They got me back in. They fucking saved that. I didn't know what was happening there. I was just about to tap out. Oh my god! Oh my god, they kept a little sample in. That is industrial as fuck. Oh my. I'm getting hot and bothered with this song. Transition. Okay, give me a sec. That was a clean transition. We allowed it to happen. Fucking hell, man. I've never been more conflicted with a song. I was almost like, fuck, this might be a long album with that. Loathe's mix has always been a little bit weird because it does veer into this world of like really industrial, gritty, like chunky sounding guitar tones. And then the bass is real rumbly. Like you can really hear, it sounds very real. And the vocals are mixed in such a way that they're quite far back in the mix and it creates this like layer of kind of creepy atmosphere. But sometimes that just makes for a quite messy experience on a first listen. And I do say this sometimes, and I know a lot of people agree with this sentiment, that sometimes those albums and those songs that you don't really understand fully on a first listen end up being like masterpieces because it's something so unique to you that it takes a moment for your brain to process it, and then you feel like you don't really like it, but there might be something buried in there that you kind of fuck with. I feel kind of like that with Gemini, where part of my brain is like, ew, turn this off. This sounds shit. But then they just swung back into that like almost techno sound, that real industrial dance music sound with that like anvil sounding sample. A ding, 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 ding. Kind of like Meshuggah-esque when there's like an alarm sound going and you have like a relatively straightforward groove. I am so in. So they kind of pulled me back in with that one. So I'm really going to be on the fence with that. The first portion of this album has been really fucking cool. Like again, so unique. The heavier moments, I'm not the biggest fan of at times, even though that's like kind of why I love Loathe, because the shoegazy stuff doesn't do much for me. But so far, the heavier stuff has been a bit jarring for me at times. It's like so in your face, so heavy, so... I want to say like the clarity is kind of insane for how heavy it is, which makes it a little... It sounds quite unique. Like you can hear the drums so perfectly. The only thing that's, I guess, not that clear is the vocals, which are like intentionally kind of further back in the mix, which means you're kind of like... Feels like you're trying to like sonically push some things out of the way that are so big and in your face. This is getting crazy, by the way. To hear what's going on in the background, like those vocals are like buried in all this like fucking crazy sharp like things. This isn't like I'm trying to like picture this visually, turning sonic things into visuals, and it's not working. But so far, so it's cool. It's fucking Loathe, and it's exactly what I expected with it being more fun as an album experience. That is just how I prefer to consume Loathe's music. But yeah, we started off with like a Dave-esque kind of like psychodrama intro. I love that. And then we've just gone a bit mental. We had the Static Dress feature. Fortress Down was a little bit different again. Gemini, a little bit of an ass beater. Felt a little bit like I Let It In. But let's just keep going. I'm not going to keep yapping. This is a bit of an interlude, I guess. Nothing Like the Knife. It's kind of like, how do you even describe their sound? It's psychedelic. You can't even really describe it as metalcore anymore. It's psychedelic modern metal with shoegaze elements, I guess. I don't know, man. I really get the impression that they don't want to be labeled as any one thing, which I think most really good bands in the scene right now kind of adopt that philosophy, where they don't want to be pigeonholed. Okay, I like the sound of this. A little bit of a fake out. Interesting, like, robotic vocal layer. It's almost like a kind of western gallop to this. It sounded like there was kind of like a cowbell or something. Little ghost note. Straight up jazzing it. Drummers are gonna love this part. Sick, man. It's fucking cool. Like, they're objectively one of the coolest bands in the scene. I think, like, I know music is so subjective and aesthetics are so subjective, but I think it's almost objective how slick these guys are. A rhythm guitar coming in, very lightly strummed. Kind of muted in a way. Ooh, they were kind of teasing some big meaty kicks there. Okay. I don't know what this is. I want to say that looks Arabic to me, but I could be completely racist there. I don't know. Is that racism? I don't know. Fuck it. If it is what it is. But yeah, cool little thing. I don't know. Here's those kicks coming back in. Is it kicks? This is back to Bucky Sugar, who was the narrator in the intro. This is very psychedelic and trippy, man. Also, how do we feel about the artwork for this album? I don't know if I love it. It's a bit fucking random. I've not really, like, looked at it properly, but it just... It's quite eye-catching. But it looks a bit... silly. Like, it's a Loathe chain, I guess. I think they sell those as, like, merch. Or maybe they don't. I think I've seen one of them wear that. Like the Cold Stone or whatever. And then it's just like A Stranger to You printed all over it. I get it's artistic, man. It's cool. But it's like a marble countertop almost. Just kind of a bit... I don't know. It's not my preferred visual artistry. But it's got me talking.
Flowers in the fruit, gentle labor, heavy hands.
The production's sick.
World's weighing on the blade, broken by an empty strand. Silk, cotton, satin, braided down, threaded bands to hold them.
It reminds me of the Pieces song that Tory Lanez did with 50 Cent. Adrenaline pumping, heartbreaking, of me lives.
Remain floating. Grip the heart of your heart and transform hope.
No, it's not that. You know what it's not? It's Memories Don't Die by Tory Lanez.
Forever motion. Ever forward. Forever motion.
Let me see if I can quickly... Memories Don't Die. It's Tory Lanez. Well, that was just... Didn't type anything, did it? Memories... It's Tory Lanez. Memories Don't Die. That album's fucking sick, by the way, if you haven't heard it. It's the introduction to this. It's called Memories.
Remember me for being laughed at. The kid with no cash when they asked for the cash.
This intro is fucking sick, by the way. It's reminding me of that. I'd highly recommend you go and check out that album. This transition into Old Friends, New Foes, sick. So yeah, kind of. There's been a lot of cool. I won't say references or inspirations throughout this album, but I'm certainly picking up on certain sounds that remind me of certain things. So, like, I mean, we've had Porcupine Tree, we've had like the I Let It In album, the previous album from Loathe. I'm now getting Tory Lanez vibes, Dave vibes. Cool. I like the narration style. I don't know if it's like narrating a story because I'm not really paying attention to the lyrics, but like it kind of feels like there's a storyline that's running with Bucky Sugar. I feel like such a fucking dweeb when I say that. Bucky Sugar. Revenant single. Let's just let it play. We've heard it already.
Ever forward,
Heavy fucking single.
forever motion.
Ever forward, forever motion. This again feels like it's straight off of I Let It In. Jesus. Okay, so that was Revenant. I've heard that a couple of songs. I like it more now. It actually didn't strike me as much as a like continuation of the I Let It In sound as it does now. It really feels like it's more of that era of Loathe, which I like. And it does make more sense in the context of the record, which I did say when listening to the single. But it's pretty much all full songs from here. There's no more little breaks or interludes. Even though there's only one, I don't know what I'm talking about. Mansur Brown. Okay. I feel like I know that name, but I don't know if I've heard any of his music. Maybe it's just because I've seen his name associated with this album at some point. I don't know. Let me quickly have a look at Mansour Brown. Mansour Brown is the definition of a prodigy. Jesus Christ. This is his Google description. A classically... Oh, this is about him. This is his website. I respect him. I can't tell who's Loathe and who's Kadeem and who's Mansour. Kadeem has so many different vocal deliveries. See, all of this is sick. What was that? This is such a big part of the aesthetic of what they're going for these days. And I can appreciate it. But it's a very particular type of sound that if you're not like head over heels for it, I do think I'll add this to my playlist. Just, I'm liking the vibe of it. Cool. It's a gorgeous song. Meet My Maker's gotta be heavy. There's no way Meet My Maker is not a heavy song. It doesn't need to be heavy, but with that name and where it's placed in the album between this and Fangs, surely it's a fucking ass destroyer. Again, I love the commitment to making an album, everything flowing together. So much more memorable as an overall experience as opposed to just loads of singles mashed together. Prodigy vibes, Breathe. This is cool. They don't even sound like guitars anymore, man. That's so fuzzy. The little bend at the end of that. Again, it's so fucking unbelievably unique. This is a cool song as well. I'll give it to them. Definitely so much growing potential in a lot of these songs. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. We have a couple of songs left. Two of which you've already heard, so it's kind of 2 new songs after this. Interesting, though. Very fucking interesting. Again, Bring Me the Horizon-esque heavy metal, I think is the Bring Me the Horizon song. And I keep making pedals. The bass lines in this fucking album have been so slick, man. It sounds like some crime fighting scene in a movie in Chicago somewhere. Yeah, this song hits so much harder on the album. That chorus is fucking amazing. Yeah, this song is incredible. Yeah. It's such a fucking cool song. I didn't give that enough credit when I first heard it, but again, been saying this for time now. Loathe in the context of an album just makes so much more sense. And that melody is a bit of a grower as well. It's quite chill and stripped back and laid back, but it's fucking classy as fuck, man. Classy band is the best way to describe Loathe. Very classy. Not conforming to any modern metal tropes, but also keeping it heavy and modern. In their own unique way. The Ladder. Johnny Booth reference? Who's Jordan? Okay. I don't know who this dude is. Let me Google him. New Zealand singer and songwriter. How did this come to be? It kind of feels like a Christmas song. But that's more of a compliment to how warm it feels. It's beautiful. Love me like you do. Ellie Goulding vibes as well. What's going on? Jesus, this is good. Dark shift. It's so creative. It's like Radiohead or something as well. Or Pink Floyd with some of the production techniques and choices. Again, very psychedelic. Okay, Gifted Every Strength. This was the first single that came out like over a year ago at this point. I think it was over a year ago anyway. Feels like a long time ago. But when it first dropped, I didn't love it. There's moments in it that are fucking sick, but as an entire song, I didn't love it. But again, context of the album, I keep saying it. The detail in every single section of each song is just so commendable, and makes sense why it took so long to put this album together. It's so considered at every step. Again, porcupine tree feel here. That's literally almost identical to a segment in an Easy Tiles. No, I think it's Arriving Somewhere. It's one of those songs. Again, I need to go back and listen to some Porcupine Tree after this. Yeah, big Porcupine Tree vibes in some of these songs, man. Which is fucking cool. What a band. I think it's Arriving Somewhere but not here. That lead guitar. Not now, but the... Yeah, it's Arriving Somewhere. Arriving somewhere, but not here. Yeah, I really appreciate how they just like, there's no cheap thrills in this. There's no like junk food, sonically, so to speak. Everything is very considered and they take their time and build layers upon layers. Very classy. They're not trying to make tropey music or, you know, fall into any particular category that might be popular in today's day and age. They're really just doing their own thing. Everything is so fucking unique. Like, I don't remember this even, I don't remember, it's been so long since I listened to this song that I don't remember if this was a part of the actual song. I guess it was, because I remember the song being like around 8 minutes long. I just don't remember this part. I like the song. Everything is so fucking raw though. I love it. Even just hearing all the little... Just the sliding up and down the fretboard is just sounds so good, man. Yeah, I'd wonder if there's... If the band are Porcupine Tree fans. Porcupine Tree Loathe. Let's see if there's anything online about them. I don't see any like direct interviews or references at any point. Well, I mean, they're both from the UK and both have kind of like a progressive rock / metal, psychedelic and heavy elements. Interesting. Okay. No Stranger to You. So kind of the title track, but not really the title track. Not exactly. Final song. There's that kind of Deftones influence creeping through. Strong end to the album. Cool. And that's that. Loathe, A Stranger to You. Their first album back since I Let It In back in 2020, which really set them ablaze, I think, at that moment. And then obviously they had viral moments on TikTok and shit like that with you know, some of the more popular songs on that album, the more shoegazy leaning songs. And this is a really, really interesting album for me because I feel like this is going to be absolutely adored by everyone. I feel like this is going to be critically acclaimed. People are really going to love this. I think this makes perfect sense as a natural progression of Loathe sound. There is no one like Loathe in the scene. There just isn't. They've once again proven it with this album that I Let It In was not like a flash in the pan. Because that could have easily been a thing. I know people like The Cold Sun, but realistically, their last album is what like really set them ablaze. And there could have easily been a situation. And to be honest, I kind of had that feeling where I was like, you know what? This could just be like a one-trick pony band. And especially the longer they made us wait, and then I wasn't really enjoying the singles, I was like, maybe this just isn't going to be another album that they've kind of pulled it off. And I think they've kind of pulled it off again. I think they've really done a great job with this album. On first listen, it's kind of like when I heard Viljarta for the first time. After you've heard that sound and that particular style and that niche sound that is like Thal music that Viljarta created with, well, not created with that album, but when I heard Viljarta for the first time with Mastad under Vatten, it kind of broke my brain. And you can't ever really recreate that like breaking of the brain again. Like anything after that they do will never be as surprising as the first time you've heard it. And I do feel a little bit like this with this album. Not to take away from this album, because I think it's fantastic and I think they've done a fucking incredible job. But it is like a natural progression of the I Let It In sound, which broke my brain when I first heard that album. It was like nothing I'd ever heard before. This sounds in moments like that album, but they've kind of gone down a different route where they've definitely matured their sound. I feel like you can definitely hear the 6 years of maturity that's come with this actual album, where, you know, the band's obviously grown up. It's a little bit more like jazz infused in moments, even though they did have moments like that in the previous album. I think the thing I'm struggling the most with this, and I'm just trying to like get my kind of more negative leaning thoughts out of the way because there's so much to say about this positively, is that when I think of I Let It In, I kind of go to this like place thematically and visually in my head that is like grungy and dark. It's like dark cellars, kind of like Saw-esque, if that makes sense. You know, Saw the movie with all the torture methods and shit like that. I kind of go there mentally, and that always helps me to like have an album resonate with me a lot longer and stick with me for a longer period of time, when I can kind of visually put myself or mentally put myself in a particular like mental state or visual place that is created by the sounds that I'm hearing on the album. And that I Let It In album definitely did that for me. Whereas this one, I struggled to put myself anywhere particular. I'm not resonating with the overall soundscapes as much because there is a blend. It does go quite heavy, but it's definitely more, especially towards the end, which ironically, I actually enjoyed those songs the most, which is usually what I don't enjoy the most about Loathe. I actually prefer their heavy stuff from experience with I Let It In, and that's why mentally I go to that place that's kind of like dark and grungy and grimy and this kind of like cell. Whereas with this album, it's a little bit different visually. Like I can't really paint the picture in my head. Over time, I'm sure I will be able to do that, and I think maybe in certain environments. But it's a fucking sick album. They've really nailed it. They really fucking have nailed it. Some of the points I've taken down, the guitars, I think initially I was thinking that might be a point of contention for some people because they are so sharp and crunchy. But I think they kind of serve their purpose throughout this album. I love the isolated bass licks throughout this album as well. There needs to be more bands that actually isolate the bass and just let that run. It's a real like confidence to it to just say, you know what, let's just have Kadeem and the bass line and some production elements and just let it ride. And then the guitars just have so much more impact when they come in. Again, this feels like a natural progression of I Let It In. It's more mature, less aggressive, I think. On first listen, it feels a lot less aggressive, which is maybe why I'm not clicking with it as much as I did with I Let It In on first listen. But again, I heard that album 6 years ago. The scene has definitely caught up with Loath's sound, but at the same time, they really haven't because no one sounds like this band. But I've obviously heard a lot more production elements. I was a lot newer to the scene back then as well, so everything was more surprising to me. So this doesn't have that like same shock value on first listen. But I think where it loses out on shock value, not because of the band doing anything wrong, but more because I've experienced more music, it makes up for it in class. And I think there's a lot of class in this album. It's a great album experience. I think it has less standout moments, but then again, there is a lot of standout moments towards the end. As you can see, I liked the last, 6 songs in a row. I think that last stretch of the album is fucking incredible. You could argue the first stretch is really, really good as well, but it doesn't really pull me in as much. The drum sound on this is incredible. I love a lot of the perceived influences that I have in my head anyway. It sounds like there was some kind of like dance music elements in this with some of the kind of like heavy kicks that came in the first portion of the album. I think it was in Gemini, which really caught me off guard. The drums sound incredible. Some of the perceived influences that I was picking up on, kind of like Porcupine Tree in moments towards the end of the album, which is a band that I haven't even thought about in a long time. So that was kind of cool. The vocal delivery is definitely in that kind of like Deftones-y, Thornhill-esque way, which doesn't do much for me. It gets a little bit lost. I get it's trying to be this kind of moody, almost sexy leaning vibe. But Thornhill obviously done that like very well for what it is on the Bodies album, but it just doesn't really click with me too much. Again, love all the isolated bass moments. I Let It In feels darker. Again, I can place myself somewhere. Struggling with the rating for this one because I did just give the Boundaries album an 85, and they're so hard to compare and contrast because I'm thinking in my head that this feels like a much more considered and I want to say like professional body of work than something like Boundaries, but they're both trying to do completely different things. So I can't use the Boundaries album as a guide for this album because again, it's completely different one gives me, I suppose I can kind of put myself in this almost like, I don't know if you guys played Time Splitters, the PlayStation game from years ago. It kind of puts me in like Chicago. There was a map or like a portion of the game where you're in Chicago, and it just puts me there, man. So it kind of has this like Chicago crime fighting, like top hat standing in the corner all mysterious with shadows on his face, that kind of vibe, which is kind of cool. So maybe that will like start to expand more for me as I listen to this album more. But I can't really compare the two, and the ratings are a little bit hard because right now I'm not seeing myself being really excited to jump back into this like instantly. But it's a very listenable album from start to finish. Like, it's one of those albums which is exactly what I wanted from this experience, is to be that album experience. And like, you can just click play from track number 1 entrance and let it play all the way through to No Stranger to You. And that is definitely what we're getting here. There's no jarring moments in this that I want to turn it off or I want to skip. There is some lull moments where it's not as interesting to me, but there's also not many massively high moments where I'm like completely sold. So I give the Boundaries album an 85. I probably, after a couple of days, there's a voice crack, crazy. I'd probably bring the Boundaries album down a little bit. I got lost in the moment a little bit, as I like to. That's the whole fun of doing this. I don't try and like reserve myself too much. I'm not one of these like magazines that is like really objective and sitting there. Even though I am writing stuff down, I'm not like trying to be this completely objective professional being. I'm just a dude who likes music, and I try to keep it that way. So the Boundaries album, maybe I got a little bit carried away. I'd probably give the Boundaries album like an 80 to 80, like 3 or something like that. Whereas this feels like it should be a little bit higher. It does feel like another masterpiece from Loathe. I don't know if I would call it a masterpiece by my own standards, but it does like objectively feel like it's so well crafted, and 6 years makes a lot of sense. This is why albums like this take so long to make, because it does feel like there's just no stones left unturned. Not everything I love stylistically, it's not my cup of tea in moments, but I can appreciate that the musicality and the actual composition is fucking fantastic. So I'm going to, for now, give A Stranger to You by Loathe an 86. I could probably go higher because I know people are going to fucking love this, and I can see why there's like incredible musicianship to this, and I feel like this will be considered a masterpiece to a lot of people, which is impressive considering the 6-year layoff and the fact that people were expecting another masterpiece to actually kind of pull off a masterpiece again after their previous album, which is a masterpiece in my opinion. They've kind of done it again. I think an 86 is fair because it doesn't wow me as much as I Let It In. And it might go down in my books, but it also has room to go up. So I think 86 is a fair position to put it in. I'd probably bring the Boundaries album down a little bit because, again, lost in the moment. It's not as like creative or artistic as something like this, but it's definitely more emotionally charged and it's designed for a different environment. So I'm not going to try and compare the two, even though that's exactly what I'm doing. But 86 for A Stranger to You by Loathe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, guys. Do you prefer this album over I Let It In? And I don't want to hear you just saying that you prefer this album because of all the hype that's going into release day. Actually think about it and explain why you believe this album might be better, or you explain why I Let It In is the far superior album. I know it can be hard because all these songs are fresh, but try and like listen to the album completely objectively and free from like new music bias and what's the word I'm looking for? Recency bias. And let me know in the comments. Again, leave a like, make sure you're subbed. Consider supporting on Patreon. It is the best way to support me. The links will be in the description. All of my album reactions usually go there. Hopefully I'll get this one cleared, so it'll be free for you guys on YouTube. But if not, it'll be on Patreon and you're already here watching it. So yeah, enjoy, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Well, I've fucking ruined it. I was on such a roll. See you in the next one. Cheers.